Welcome back. Today we're doing a deep dive you asked for on the critical state of South African logistics.
And we're going to try and cut through some of the jargon, specifically this term hyper-automation.
Exactly. Because we found this central paradox, almost an absurdity, based on analysis from AI thought leader Johan Steyn. You have these major logistics firms, their trucks have all the cutting-edge telematics, the glowing dashboards.
All the bells and whistles.
Right. But the actual engine of the business, the entire workflow, is somehow still being held together by spreadsheets, WhatsApp groups, and just panicked phone calls.
Yeah, and that gap is getting harder to manage because the whole system is under immense strain.
What does that strain look like on the ground?
Well, we all know the rail and port infrastructure is struggling.
Yeah.
That pushes so much freight onto roads that just can't handle it.
Okay.
And at the same time, you have global clients demanding things that are incredibly sophisticated. They want real-time visibility, predictable delivery, and now transparent carbon reporting.
So the local operators are completely squeezed.
They're caught between this fragile infrastructure and these hyper-demanding clients. It's an impossible position.
And when you're in that position, the natural reaction is to, well, buy a solution.
Right.
You buy a tool.
Of course. That's the temptation.
Which leads to this digital clutter. Companies get a platform for route planning, another for yard management.
Another for customer comms, yeah.
And each one solves a tiny piece of the puzzle, but they don't talk to each other. So you end up with what the source calls islands of automation.
And this is the core insight, I think. Hyper-automation is not a shopping list for more tools. It's a disciplined methodology.
Okay, so break that down. A methodology for what?
It's about combining process discipline with technology. Things like workflow tools, RPA, machine learning, and eventually, yes, generative AI.
But the process part comes first.
Crucially, if you just throw technology at a messy process, you don't automate efficiency. You just accelerate bad decisions. The real bottleneck isn't the tech. It's almost always internal.
Unclear processes, conflicting incentives, that kind of thing.
Exactly that. You have the route planners, the drivers, the warehouse teams, the finance department, and very often they are all working with different versions of the truth.
But wait, if a technology like generative AI is so powerful, why can't it just, force the integration? Why do you have to do the painful cleanup first?
Because technology is just an amplifier. That's all it is.
An amplifier.
Yeah. If your underlying process is confusing and full of manual workarounds, layering an algorithm on top just makes the errors happen faster, and they become much harder to track. You have to clean out the garage before you install the smart home system.
That makes perfect sense. So for a business leader listening, what's the map? What's the first step if it's not a shopping list?
You start by mapping your most high-value processes.
Like order to cash.
Order to cash, plan to deliver, yep. You map the entire cycle from the moment an order is placed to the moment you get paid.
And you simplify it. You have to get rid of every single manual workaround and agree on a single source of truth for the data.
And only then do you start to layer in the technology.
And once that foundation is solid,
Oh, the value of AI becomes immediate and massive. We're talking about, say, generative AI copilots that can simulate 1,000 different routing options in a second based on live traffic.
Yeah.
Or agentic AI that drafts complex customs documents and invoices from shipment data, just waiting for a human to give it the final sign-off. The ROI is finally there because the work is clear.
This isn't just a corporate issue, though. The sources also point a finger at policymakers, don't they?
Absolutely. There's a huge need for shared data standards for performance indicators at the corridor level. We need common platforms so smaller operators aren't left behind.
And training. You can't forget the people, the drivers, controllers, supervisors. They all need to be part of this.
So the key takeaway for you listening has to be this. Every single automation initiative must be tied to a measurable outcome.
No more vanity projects.
None. You have to be able to prove it. Fewer demurrage charges, lower fuel usage, faster payment cycles. If you can't measure the drop in chaos, you're just adding to the clutter.
So if we bring this all together, the analysis is pretty clear that hyper-automation isn't some miracle cure for failing infrastructure. It's really a disciplined approach to fixing your own house first.
Exactly.
Which leads us with a final thought. If we actually do focus on the people, the data, and the processes first,
Yeah.
could this approach lead to logistic systems that aren't just efficient, but are actually more resilient, fair, and maybe more human-centered for everyone involved? Something to think of.